So after a rather disappointing attempt at buying a ready-made, store-bought chicken coop automatic door opener, I decided to go ahead and build my own. So I've done this previously. I'll actually put a link in the description and possibly in the card up top to my old design that I used for the big chicken coop I had at my old homestead. I'm this time around trying a much simpler wiring approach using one timer instead of two. I will walk you through the wire setup. I'll provide links to some of the access, the information and instruction I found in various places, and also links to all the parts that I used to make this. So let's get to it. So let's get into the details of how I wired this all together. So if you'll remember from my previous design, I had two of these timer controllers that would actually, one would open the door, the other one would close the door. That was annoying, so I found a new design. Again, I'll post a link down below to the instructions I followed to wire this up. This system ultimately uses, this is an 8-inch stroke linear actuator to actually open and close the door. So when it extends, that's closing the door. When it retracts, it's open. So it's currently in its open position. And this will be more obvious when I actually wire it up and hook it up to the chicken coop. So let's talk about this. So this right here is just a power adapter, the kind of thing you might use to plug your laptop in and charge it up. This is a 12 volt 5 amp. And this wires into, so that's the source of the power, obviously. This particular linear actuator is 12 volt and 5 amps, so that's why the power is as it is and what we are choosing. This right here is an 8-pin electromagnetic relay. So this is where all the magic is happening, because the linear actuator works by, with the current going in one direction, it will extend, and when the polarity is reversed, it retracts. So really, this is working the magic right here. That's what's causing that to switch over. And to control how that's switching, we use this. So this is a pretty straightforward timer. It's the CN101A. You see this a lot in a lot of homemade designs. Anytime you need a controller, DC timer, this is usually what you find. So it's pretty straightforward. Their power goes in one end, and then there's some connections to control the switch. So you just set it to when you want it to go off, when you want it to go on. And you could do that. I'm not going to go into detail about how to program this because there's plenty of instructions online. Just look up that number. See, there you go, CN101A. So basically when this, you can set an on time and an off time. So you set an on time, it activates this, and I'm going to manually demonstrate that. So that's on, and it's closing, and then when I turn it off, so that the relay switches back, reverses the polarity, and now it's retracting. And that is all there is to it. It's that simple. Now, of course, how exactly to wire this up, I mean, it's a little bit, again, I'll provide more like written directions in the description below. And again, I will provide links to where you can buy each of these 4 components, but really straightforward. You get that, you get some wire to work with, and some of these paddle connectors, which are really, really super duper handy. I will let you know that something to keep in mind is if you wire this up and it doesn't work, switch the positive and negative of the power in the switch, because some of these CN101A controllers, the older versions require the opposite polarity, and it may not be obvious, because when I first wired this up, I was like, that's not working. And I remembered when I built my last door opener, when I had 2 of these, I had to reverse the wires. So just keep that in mind. So that's why the colors look off, opposite what they should be. So anyway, that's all there is to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stuff all these components into some kind of plastic case, and I'm going to go put it outside. I'm going to wire this, hook this up to the outside of the coop, attach some kind of door to it, and we will have ourselves an automatic door. Sometimes with DIY projects, you just need to get creative. So I have this little plastic container that, hey, I'm reusing it. This is what some snap peas came in. So I've just crammed all the components in here. With this particular design, I have set it to open at 6 o'clock every day, every morning, and about 5:30 at night. So that will be fine for a while. I won't have to reset that until after winter. So that should be fine. So I'll just go ahead and close it up in this plastic container, let the needed wires dangle out, and that should be all we need to do to protect these electronics when we put it in the chicken coop. So first of all, please excuse the background noise. Living in suburbia, lots of noise. So my chickens are pretty happy. I have the automatic chicken coop door fully installed. It is what it is. So I will admit that this install is not as awesome as the one I did at my previous homestead on my big chicken coop, because I was working with very limited space. So I was really kind of hacking to see, this is only an 8-inch stroke, so I had to do kind of a small door. This had to be on the outside because I just couldn't get the geometry to work on the inside, because there's just so very little space inside because it's such a small coop. But as you can see, I have all my guts right there, and I have the in place. So that will open and close. I just put like a little guardrail on the side so it couldn't be pulled this way by predators. There is a very small gap under the door but a predator could put a paw through, but it cannot get through. This is in here solid. And this door pushes and pulls with 225 pounds of force, so we're good. So I think this will be sufficient for my purposes. It is timed. Like I said, I have all the guts inside, and I have it wired to a plug that goes all the way to my house. Eventually, I'd like to set up a solar panel here, 12 volts, giving about 5 amps, so I can fully power this through a solar panel. But that's not for today, because that's more money that I don't have. So all in all, I'm pretty happy. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna put just a protective plastic covering over the front here, because these are not made, these linear actuators are not made to be outside. So this is, like I said, not ideal. It's a little crazy looking in terms of the framing because, hey, I worked with what I had. So this whole coop is turning into quite the Frankenstein. But that's okay, because it serves its purpose. That is a very small hole, but it's more than big enough for these non-gigantic, see, watch, right on cue. Perfect. Even these fatter barred rocks can get through. So I think we're good to go. So anyway, again, I put the wiring details in a link below. I'll have links to all the different parts. I'd really appreciate a thumbs up on this video if you like this design. Even if superficially it's not the most beautiful thing, if you like the overall concept, give me a thumbs up. Please be sure to share this video. I could really use the help in building my channel. And another chicken went inside. And as always, thank you for watching, and thank you for joining me on this crazy, hacked journey.